What's going on, guys? Josh here, and in this video I want to go through the exact steps that I take when doing product research to make sure that the product that I'm potentially looking to sell is not legally patented or trademarked, so that when we get started we really get that ball rolling, that our business doesn't get shut down randomly by someone else, a competitor that's selling the product, and your store kind of getting shut down because of lack of preparation. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about here, and I will just preface this: I am not a legal professional, but just doing it and sharing what I do. Yeah, just kind of trying to help you guys not to get sued. So let's go straight into the video. If you guys are new here, my name is Josh, and I'm a 7-figure entrepreneur who loves all things productivity, e-commerce, and personal finance. So sit back, relax, and let's jump straight into it. Alright, so why would we get sued? Now, a lot of beginners, when they're doing a product research, they go ahead and they're so excited, right? They go and find an amazing product and they're like, yes, okay, this is the one, right? They go and sell it, but if you're not prepared, or if you don't do the proper due diligence, there's a chance that there might be some legal protections on that product, and therefore that company that's previously selling that product or has been selling that product can actually come back, issue a cease and desist letter, which pretty much tells you, hey, you gotta stop. It's a nice warning, right? A legal warning. But if you don't and you continue to sell it, they can actually sue you for loss of income. And I'm not gonna go into the details of that because it's never happened to us, but we have actually been issuing cease and desist letters, and also have gone through the process of suing, right? So it's a very serious process, and I just want to make sure you guys understand how serious this process is. Now, there are a few things that I want to quickly address before we go ahead and talk about the process of how you can do this. The first thing is that there are different jurisdictions that kind of govern all these legal protections. So for example, the legal governing body of the United States is going to be different to Australia, Canada, the UK, any other country like that. So you need to make sure that you're looking at the right country, depending on where you want to sell, right? So for example, someone might have a patent or a trademark in the United States, but they might not have that in Australia. So there are some leeways, there are some, kind of nuances that you can get around certain things, but it's just important to know that there are different jurisdictions. The second thing that I want you to understand is that what is the difference between a trademark and a patent, right? A trademark, really briefly, is a protection over a brand name, like a slogan, like Nike, Just Do It, Apple, all of these like word or icons, like their logo, that's what a trademark protects. Okay, now when it comes to a patent, the thing that we need to understand is that there are two different types of patents. There's a utility patent and a design patent. Now, what are the differences between the two? The utility patent is how a product is used intrinsically in a certain category. So for example, a phone is used as a phone to make a call between you and I. Right? Now, Apple or Samsung, they can't go ahead and develop a utility patent on that because it's so widespread and it's just so highly competitive, right? But for example, if I created an invention that would crank, I don't know, a desk or something, and it was just never talked about, it's a brand new invention, all that kinds of stuff, then I could go ahead and file a utility patent on that product or that design. Now, going on to the design patent, much more simple. This is a patent, a form of legal protection just on the look of a product. So for example, the Apple iPhone, it's protected in the way that it looks, right? Samsung or those other companies cannot copy the exact look of an Apple, but they can emulate the functions, if that makes sense. Briefly, I will mention that actually going ahead and filing for these patents can be quite costly. Because you're protecting a form of intellectual property, right? So for design patents, utility patents, the duration of how long it takes from filing to issuance is vastly different. For design patents, it goes until anywhere between 9 to 24 months. Utility patents can go anywhere between the 2 to 5 year mark to actually get approval. And in terms of that, the cost is a couple $1,000s each. So just want to make sure that you guys understand that. Again, not legal advice. Every kind of attorney is going to have different pricing and it's subjective, right? So let's go straight into my process of how I go ahead and make sure that a product that I want to sell is not legally protected. All right, so we're getting into the fun stuff now. Now, this product I found when I was actually doing the video of the top 5 products to sell in June. I actually was going to add this one in because this was out of my own research. I used my AdSpy software, Big Spy, and I'll leave a link in that video to that video right here. But what I wanted to do was, I was like, this is an amazing product, but I found that there was some legal protections on this, so I did not want to go ahead and advocate it on the video, just because there were going to be potential people who were going to potentially try and test this product. Now, this is the video right here, and this is the ad. So you can see here, like, insane amounts of engagement. 29 million views, 47,000 comments, and 73,000 likes, right? And honestly, it was really eye-catching. I really love this product, and they did an amazing job. Now, what I did was I went ahead and looked at their landing page, which is this one here, and what we can see is that, okay, they've done a good job in terms of branding, insanely high markup value, because, when looking at AliExpress, this was actually quite cheap and very affordable to source, but they're charging insane amounts, like $180, down to the $40, right? So amazing product, and honestly, it definitely solves a pain point for people who are balding and just want to really quickly get that quick shave, right? Now, what I want to stress is when you go onto these products, what I like to do is, first of all, go down to the very bottom of the page, right? Have a look at if there's any kind of inkling of intellectual properties. Now, for example, if there are, okay, here we go. So the company intellectual property, what I found was, I was like, oh wow, there's a lot there. As you can see here, there's a lot of utility and design patents on all of this. And again, remember how I mentioned that there's the 2 different types of patents, design being the way it looks, and then the utility is how it actually functions. Now you might actually ask, but this is a shaver, how can they get a utility patent? I thought, similar situation with the phones. If it's something that's very common, how can you get a utility patent issued? You gotta understand though, this is not a regular shaver. This is a shaver that you put in between, your fingers, right? And you kind of rub on your head, rather than the natural kind of shaving or like electric shaving kind of function. So that's how they did it. And again, if you remember, I talked about jurisdictions, like which countries have they actually filed for protections, right? You can see here there's multiple countries: Canada, Australia, the European Union, Japan, USA, India, even South Africa. They've gone through a ton, right? Now, if they have a page like this, great. It pretty much tells you, okay, this is the red tape. You can't really cross that, and you would want to validate this. There are a few ways that you can do it, and the easiest way, honestly, is just to go to Google Patents, right? Go here, and let's go ahead and search, for example, Skull Shaver. So that's their brand name, right? Generally, you can just start off with their brand name and kind of go on from there. Now, if I type in Skull Shaver, you can see here there are quite a few protections here. A lot of few documentations, pieces of information here. And it's very hard to read, right? So what we need to have a look at is on the right hand side, the assignees, right? There are different companies. Now you can see here Skull Shaver LLC. Now go ahead and click on that, and that's where it gets a little bit more obvious, right? This is the exact same product, and there are diagrams here to show you, yes, this is the exact same product that I can see on the website. You see, right? If I'm jumping between the two, it's insane. And you can even see like what the process was in terms of, in 2011 they actually went ahead and applied for this patent, right? And in 2013, 2 years later, it was actually active. It was actually issued, right? So this is one of the ways. Now, let's say, for example, and again down here, like you're gonna want to have a look at the country codes. So each listing here has like US AU, US, 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 and it'll keep going down. And like, for example, electric hair clipper by the same guy, and it's gonna have WO, Mexico, ES, BR, EP, all of these different jurisdictions. Okay, so you just need to understand that, right? Now again, remember, we are not the legal professionals. I don't expect you guys to go ahead and understand all of this. To be honest, I don't know either. but I like to use this as a first layer of protection when I'm looking for products, because what I don't want is to actually go ahead and start selling, start making some money, and then bam, cease and desist letter, potential to sue, and the whole business gets shut down. And not only that, what happens is if they actually have legal protections, and this company, for example, Skull Shaver, actually contacts Shopify and says, hey, Josh's store is selling the exact same thing, we have a bunch of legal protections, can you look into it? If they look into it and they can validate the legal protections, they're going to shut down my store right away, because I've literally breached all kinds of legal protections that they've gone ahead and applied on this product. So let's say, for example, that it's not as easy as them having intellectual property on the actual website itself. What would I do? Now, what I usually like to do is, if I can see them ad is scaling, or I can see that the brand has been around for a while, what I like to do is try to find their legal incorporation name. So how you do that is actually I go to the privacy policy, because generally here they actually explicitly tell you what their legal entity name is. So for example, Skull Shaver LLC, right there. They've got it right there, and it's very easy. Once you've got that, then you can go ahead and go throw it into the Google Patents section, right? Like this, search for it, and you're gonna see a ton of different listings, right? So if you see listings, that's where you need to be a little bit more cautious, right? Now, in terms of trademarks, what I like to do is generally we sell in the United States only, but you can do this for Australia, Canada, EU, UK, all of that kind of stuff. But I'll use the United States for an example. So again, remember, trademarks are the protections on a brand name in a certain category. So for example, I can't go and create a company named Nike and try to sell some sporting goods. It just doesn't work, right? Because their legal protections are there. Even if I try to use that swoosh sign, it's not going to work because they're legal protections, right? So trademarks are on the logo and also the brand name. Patents are on the look of the product or the way the function of the product works. They want you to make that clear distinction. Now, going to trademarks, what I want to go to do is the United States Patents and Trademarks Office, USPTO, is the governing body that looks after the US, right, for patents and trademarks. Now, this is the website here. What I want you to go ahead and do is to go to trademarks, right? And then you want to do this TESS. And I can actually link this in the description down below just to make it super easy for you guys. But the trademark database is where you want to go, TESS. Okay, and from here, what we want to do is go to the basic word mark search, right? Okay, so from this point, this is kind of where, if you're thinking about a brand name, like let's say we were thinking about Nike or Apple or Samsung or all that kind of stuff, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and, first of all, type that name into here. So let's go ahead and type Nike, right? So type it here, live and dead, submit query, okay? Oh, look at that. There's a ton, guys, of Nike right here. And the reason why there's so many different listings is because each, when it comes to trademarks, you can actually protect the legal name in a certain category. So for example, like clothing or that kinds of stuff, this is what they're going to file for. But they can actually expand that if they want to make sure that no one ever takes this name. And that's why you see so many different listings here. Now let's try to find the actual Nike that we have. So you can just click onto any of those hyperlinks, right? You can see Nike. The terms and services is that they've actually filed into entertainment services in the nature of organizing sporting events of all types, right? So they're going into like this any kind of sporting event. Now keep going down, and it's pretty interesting. Like you can see actually, who the attorneys are, what kind of mark it is, all of that kind of stuff. Now the live and dead indicator means whether or not the trademark is alive, actually is it active, or dead, has it lapsed and no one's renewed it, right? So if you've seen a lot of, if you search a name and you see listings but it's all dead, that's okay. That gives you some confidence that you can actually go ahead, and because they've not gone ahead and reapplied or renewed that trademark, you can actually go ahead and file a new trademark. That's what I did for one of my brands. Someone let it lapse and I swooped in, I created it, and now I've got a trademark on my name. So that's pretty much the gist of it, guys. Now if we go ahead, if you want to make it a little bit more simple, you can go into Let's go back, test home, basic word mark search. Let's just make it like live, right? Nike, and this is all the listings that are live, like actual active for Nike, right? So that's just a simple way of doing it, and you can extrapolate this onto the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, works all the same way. But if you want to have a global brand, I would recommend, if you go actually through the process of trademarking, you should protect it in each of those countries, just because it's just gonna protect your brand and really create a moat around your brand. Alrighty guys, so that's pretty much my whole process. It's very simple, right? Like, you just find the corporate name, right, or the legal registered name, and then just throw it into Google Patents and the USPTO, just to see, depending on what you're looking for, whether you're looking for patents or trademarks, right? But that's what I do. You just throw it in there, have a look if there's listings, because remember, we're not legal professionals. If you guys are legal professionals, great, you can go and do the deeper due diligence. But for us, and when I'm looking at new products, all I'm looking for is, hey, is there a design patent on this? Okay, if there is, but I really like the product, I might try to find a different design that I can go ahead and sell, right? Can I make a modification to the product? Can I make it better in some way or some form, right? So very simple, and again, this is enough for me. But then generally, if I'm not sure, I would go ahead and actually contract out a patent attorney or a legal attorney to actually go ahead and do the searches for me, because they're the ones that are going to be able to give me a definitive answer whether, yes, Josh, you can or cannot use this design or use this trademark. Now, it's another process, and it does cost a couple $100, but it is definitely worth it if you are sincerely set on selling a certain type of product. So that is all the time that we have for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys can add this to your product level research, right? Just to make sure that you do all of your due diligence on each product, so you can prepare yourself. You can really avoid any kinds of potential legal issues going forward. Just wanted to say a big thank you for sticking it out. I know that the legal issues, the legal topics are not so fun, not so entertaining, but it is super important to know. So make sure you have, if you have any questions, make sure you throw them down in the comment section below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know exactly when I'm going to be dropping another video. Just wanted to thank you guys for really sticking it out with me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye for now.